Well, hello everyone, this is Mohammad Badrudja. Welcome back. Hope you all are doing well. And today we are going to solve lab number 3 from SQL injection vulnerability module. This is server side topic, and I am covering all these labs from Web Security Academy from Portswigger. So without wasting time, this disclaimer as always for you. This video and its contents are only for educational purpose, and I do not support any unethical or illegal act. So that's been said, let's go and we will see what we are going to solve today. So we already solved two labs before, and now the third lab is all about retrieving data from other database tables. Suppose that there are 3 tables like users table, products table, and category table. So, and web application is actually vulnerable to SQL injection attack, and you are retrieving data from the products table, okay, but you also need data from the users table so that you can know the usernames and passwords and other details like credit card and credit card pin. So in that case we use union attacks, because union comes whenever you want to retrieve data from multiple tables, because union gives you the ability to execute multiple select command, right? Select statement. We will see, or we will start now SQL injection union attacks. So we will see this example in a minute, and the today's lab depends on this: determining the number of columns required in an SQL injection attack. So this is very important, and this is the initial part of the SQL injection attack. So if you find an application vulnerable to SQL injection attack, and application is actually retrieving data from the database, so at that instant you will try to know which database is running in the backend, what is the database version, then how many columns the application is retrieving from the specific functionality or feature. Then you will know that how many columns are there, fine, and then you will try to understand what are the data type. So today we will see determining the number of columns required in an SQL injection union attack, fine. And there are 2 ways to determine the number of columns. One is by using order by class, and another is using union select query with multiple nulls. So I already opened up the lab. This is the home page, and here as you can see there are 2 things. One is category, and another is all the products you can see here. So as you can see, there is product name and the product price, fine. And also if we go here, so you will see product details also. One is product name, second one is product price, and the third one is product description. So it could be retrieving 3 columns from the database: name, price, and description. Here in this page you can see you have 2 columns from the product table. One is product name, and the second one is product price, and these all the categories. So come here, SQL injection attack, determining the number of columns returned by the query. And the agenda of this lab is, this lab contains an SQL injection vulnerability in the product category filter, fine. The result from the query are returned in the application's response, so you can use a union attack to retrieve data from other tables also, okay. So the first step of such an attack is to determine the number of columns that are being returned by the query. You will then use this technique in subsequent labs to construct the full attack. So to solve the lab, determine the number of columns returned by the query by performing an SQL injection attack that returns an additional row containing null values, fine. So there are 2 ways. The first one is by using ordered by clause, and the second one is you can perform the same thing with union select with the series of nulls. So to solve this lab, we need to use this method, the second method, because we are working on union SQL injection. Fine. So, but we will see both of these here. Now come to that point. So suppose there are three tables. One is users table, second one is products table, and third one is category. Now, how union works, this is the most important thing you need to understand. First of all, we want to retrieve some data from this table and another data from this table. So the query will be select prod underscore name, comma prod underscore price from products table. Fine, this is the first query. And now suppose that I want to fetch category name from the category table. So for that, the query will be like select cat underscore name from category, right? So these are two different sentences and two different queries. But if I want to fetch or retrieve this data in a single query, how I will do that? So for this purpose, we use union. The query will be like this one, copy, come here, put it, and then we just need to add here the union. So what union will do is, with union we can actually execute these two select statements, and union will give us the whole result from these both queries, right, in a single query. This is the purpose of union. Fine. Now back to the point. So here, as we can see, we will use this ordered by clause to retrieve the number of columns, and then we will use union select statement to understand how many number of columns retrieved by the application from the database. So ordered by clause means we will put order by class and we will put 1. So if the database is returning only one column, so you will see here the difference is there are different kind of responses. Here you will see no errors until you exceed. Fine, means suppose that there are only 2 columns retrieved by the application from the database, and if you go up to 2, it will not give you any error, but once you say 3, it will give you the error. Fine. And here you can say errors until you exceed. So it will give you error until you reach the exact number of column, right? So suppose that there are 2 columns from the previous example. If you put only one null value, fine, it will give you the error. And if you put 2 nulls, it will not give you the error because 2 is the correct number of columns fetched by the application from the database. And again, if you exceed from 2 to 3, it will actually give you error again. So errors until you actually reach the exact number of columns, right? That's it. Let's go and we will start it from here. So this is the lab. Okay, so we will choose a category first. How this query working? Same like before. This query is working like select, let's say prod underscore name, comma prod underscore price, something like this. Maybe there is description also, prod underscore description. Fine. From products table where category is equal to pets, right? So this is the query I consider running in the backend. So what happened if I let's take this query and come here. What happened if I just say this? Means if I put a single quote, same like before, like this, hit enter, and internal server error. That means this application is vulnerable to SQL injection attack. Now go back, and what I will do here is put the comment. So what it's going to do in this case, it's saying where category is equal to pet and then leave rest of the query. So it is going to say pets, and then we say whatever is there, just comment that, but there is nothing after this. But the application is vulnerable. So now I want to retrieve the number of columns, and for that I'm going to use ordered by clause and ordered by 1. Let's say hit enter. So as you can see, ordered by 1, and we did not get any error. Why? Because as I mentioned here, you will get no errors until you exceed the value. Fine. So let's say it means 1 is valid column. Let's say 2 is valid column, and let's try 3 is also valid column, and let's try 4, and you get the error. So it means 4 is invalid column, so there are 3 columns. Fine. Okay. Now we will perform the same thing with the union. So union select, let's say null, and hit enter. It will give you error. Why? Because both are opposite. So it will not give you error until you exceed the exact number of column, and this will give you error until you reach the exact number of column. Fine. So let's exceed one more null, hit enter. Okay, it means more number of columns are retrieving, and 3, and now as you can see, we have 3 number of columns retrieved by the application from the database, and we solve the lab. So that's it for this video. If you like the content, please like, subscribe and share. See you in the next video. Bye.